Do you like Wong Kar-wai?
Never heard of him.
What?
No.
Don't you teach movie making?
I did.
My name is Ben Grasso. I'm the Assistant Head of Faculty and Academic Affairs. I'm entering my 13th year at Thornton Academy, although my first 12 were as an English and history teacher. The way I think about my job is to support faculty. That could be something like meeting with teachers, observing their teaching practices, trying to plan professional development to see how we could maximize teaching and learning at Thornton Academy. It might be meetings with other members of the administration to do planning for events for the year. It might be outreach to parents about a new teaching and learning initiative, working with the director of school counseling on individual student needs or bigger curricular plans. I like to think of my job as previously I was in the classroom trying to do everything I could to make sure that my students learned. And now that I've left the classroom, my job is to make sure that our teachers have all the tools in place for them to make sure that students can learn in the best possible ways. So I have a lot of favorite foods, but in thinking about my favorite food experience, I was traveling in the Basque region in southern France and northern Spain to visit a friend of mine. They're famous for these little appetizers that I think elsewhere in Spain they call tapas, but in this region they call pinchos. And we went to a little town on the coast called Donostia, or San Sebastian, and we sat on the ocean, my friend Nick and I, and we got a bag full of periwinkles. They're like these very small snails that you have to eat with a pin. And we sat on the beach in Spain and patiently picked out tiny snails with a pin and ate them at the ocean, and it was amazing. So even though periwinkles are not my favorite food, I don't eat them all the time, that was a really great food experience. Oh, the most exciting part of a new school year is simply that every year there are two things happening on campus. One is tremendous change. We might have new students, or we might have students that are getting older and embracing new activities, new extracurricular, new athletic endeavors. And so things are always changing on campus, and that's terrifically exciting. But every day I come to work and I either enter or pass by a building that dates from 1888. And so there's something amazing about the contrast between constant change and the kinds of traditions or history that this school has in one place. It's this wonderful contrast. I wouldn't say I'm materialistic, but it would be really hard for me to live without reading or music. I know that's cheating, but I have music on all the time if it's at home, in my car, or like with my AirPods. So that's why I'm gonna say music. However, if you forced me, I would be nothing without reading. So I have to have books, I have to have newspapers, I have to have magazines, I have to have well-written blogs or other things for me to read. So if I was trapped somewhere and had to pick, it would have to be reading material. When I was in high school, my English teacher gifted myself and two of my best friends a copy of Jack Kerouac's On the Road. It wasn't something we were reading in class. To this day, I wouldn't say it was my favorite book, but it inspired me partially to become an English teacher and also to want to find a way to encourage individual students to form a relationship with reading that was their own. He looked at us and he thought that we might like this book. He didn't want to teach it to us. He just said, I think you might like reading it. And he was right. And yeah, so Jack Kerouac's On the Road. I actually don't think the job of teaching has changed since I started in education. My job and all of my colleagues' jobs are the same. We want to deliver content, we want to inspire students, we want to help them develop skills. Some of the periphery has changed, some of the technology has changed, some of society has changed. In some cases, material from the field might have changed. You know, science and literature are always evolving, but the goals are essentially the same. Adolescents will always have adolescent needs. Their potential for challenge and success is always going to be the same. So kind of cheating, but nothing's changed. What makes TA special? So I came here from elsewhere. I was born in New York, and Thornton Academy is absolutely nothing like the schools that we have in New York. And it took me a long time to realize this. But to be able to walk the halls here and to be able to sense the history and to be able to experience the excitement about education with the kinds of students that we have here, whether they're from Saco and their family has lived here for 100 years, or if they're from Dayton or Arundel or Beijing or Mexico City, there's something really fascinating about the mixture of people that are on campus and the things that they do, whether it's on our athletic fields or in the classroom or winning competitions in an academic club. There's always something going on here that speaks to the diversity of the students and their interests and their abilities, and it's pretty wonderful. 3 desert island movies. So one, and this is not because I'm on a desert island, is Jaws. I could watch Steven Spielberg's Jaws every summer for the rest of my life and never get tired of it, and probably could talk about it for far too long. But I would say this, it's not really about sharks. It's about individuals trying to find their own identity. And there's this great moment for both of you where there's a father at the dinner table, and he asks his son for a kiss. And the son does it begrudgingly and then asks why, and the father says, because I need it. It's so touching, it's awesome. You think that it's all about the monologue about the ship going down with the USS Indianapolis, but it's really about that moment when they're drinking wine and the father gets a kiss from his son. It's so good. Sorry, so Jaws, one. Next would be Rio Bravo. It's this Western by this director called Howard Hawks, and I could watch that over and over again. And then finally, would be anything by the Taiwanese director Wong Kar-wai, but particularly In the Mood for Love. Strange title for American audiences perhaps, but if you watch it, the cinematography is just beautiful, and if you like the films of Quentin Tarantino, he more or less stole all of his cinematographical majesty from Wong Kar-wai, so I would suggest watching anything by Wong Kar-wai. The school year is unlike any other, but the things that excite me are the same things that excite me every fall. It's getting to see students in the hallway or in classes. It's getting to see the results of athletic achievements and contests that happen on our fields. It's getting to see people in the auditorium practicing monologues for Hamlet, this upcoming fall production. It's the kind of excitement that happens on campus every fall. And this will sound cheesy or strange, but there's like a particular tree out in the quad, and I just love seeing it start to transition from like green to orange to red. It's always this like visual marker of the kinds of changes that we do every year with every class, and I always kind of look forward to seeing that happen. Plus, you know, the leaves eventually get to this maroon stage, and it makes me feel like nature is copying our own colors, which is kind of neat.